Hey, AfterBuzzers, you are tuning in for Scorpion. Hey, AfterBuzzers, you are tuning in for season 3 of Scorpion, episode number 18. Don't burst my bubble. We got 2 broken hearts in this episode, and literally a girl in the bubble. Don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That's the song. That's the song.
This is the one.
There She Goes. Just so you all know, if you look up There She Goes, this is not the song you're gonna get. That's not the name of this song. So don't look it up by There She Goes. But welcome to AfterBuzz TV. Hello, you're tuning in for season 3 of Scorpion, episode number 18. Don't burst my bubble. Hi everybody, I am Monse Bolanos, here to talk to you about this episode that I have so many mixed feelings about it. I can't wait to get into it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. And you can also find Susannah Kim.
Susannah. You can find me at Susannah_Kim, SUSANNAH_KIM.
So you like the episode?
I loved it.
All of it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Lately, the Scorpion's been killing it for me lately. The writers, I'm loving it.
I would have loved it. I would have been all on board to the very end. If Cabe and Allie didn't break up.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
I had a feeling you were gonna.
Are you seriously gonna do this right now?
I could have bet money on that.
I literally was like, well, I'm done. So
Bye.
how do I stop watching the show? Do I turn in my resignation now or what? Cause no. Literally everything else on the episode I was all about, because we get the end of the stupid election. Bye. Tim breaks up with Paige. Bye. And then
That's a lot of the stuff that we were asking for.
And then you take away the one thing that we were liking. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, although it might not be over, you know, he did end it on she was a great gal. So she might come back around, you don't know.
No, she shouldn't. At that point, Allie, you go on and you do something better with your life.
That's true.
Because
He dropped
Cabe
her like that.
He's tripping. Tripping from beginning to end, talking about loyalty, talking about his kids. I understand all that, but she's also got a job. She's got to make the bills. Are you paying for her bills, Cabe? What are you doing? Let me sit. I'll wait here as you tell me what you're doing for her. That really pissed me off. It really, really freaking annoyed me. As somebody who's like, you go girl, as a woman, and you're gonna take that away from her, her one job, like the thing that she is getting paid to do, her job, you're gonna tell her that because of her job, something that she openly said, I didn't want to do this, I can't believe I had to do this, something that you've known about her boss for weeks, days, whatever, and you're gonna throw this in her face? Screw you, Cabe. You lost me in this episode. Bye. And that's how I feel.
But the rest of the episode I loved.
All right, so can we talk about everybody but Cabe?
Yeah, you're right. That was the only thing. But I feel like there's hope. I don't
want there to be hope. Screw you, Cabe.
This was the only time that I thought like, ooh, it would have been interesting if maybe Allie was like, if they were gonna do this, they should have just made Allie a bad person. You know what I mean? That kind of would have been interesting, because like not once.
Yes.
Because usually you and I always have the conversation, do we trust her?
Yes.
Not once did we ask that about Allie. Why were we so trusting of her? We're always like, oh, do we trust this girl? Like, you know what I mean? We never once mentioned that with her, because she just seems so sweet. Maybe the actress just like naturally seems so genuine and sweet. But right, like I kind of wish they would have at least done that had they gone this route and gotten her out of the show or whatever. They should have just made her a bad girl to make us hate her instead of making us hate Cabe. Not that we hate Cabe, but you know, it was a bad decision. So.
I'm real close to hating Cabe.
I knew you were gonna say that too. That was so funny.
It just is something that is so. Come on, Cabe. Like, you've been alone for so long. This hot young girl comes at you who has a job, who doesn't need you to provide for her, and you're going to get rid of her because she's doing her job?
You were just having these crazy, like, fears that she was going to leave you because you're so old, and now you're going to drop her like that at the drop of a hat. And also, it'd be different, too, if maybe, like, the team was kind of like, oh, you know, you're going to be with her and stuff. They had no problem with it, you know?
So many things about it.
Yeah.
It was like, I understand you're upset. You could be upset. Go ahead, be upset. Go ahead, don't talk to her for a couple days. That's cool. Go ahead, I understand that. But for you to end a relationship especially when you've been in a situation where you've been by yourself, and you can use a relationship, Cape, whatever. You need it, especially when you work with Scorpion and those crazy geniuses. You need this. And for you to just get rid of it, it really bothered me.
I feel you.
It really, like, ruined the episode to a sense.
Really?
An episode that I was really enjoying.
Luckily, it was at the very end.
Right. But I don't know, is that luckily? Because it kind of ruined the whole thing by the end of it. It seriously bothered me. That's the first, one of the heartbreaks that we get in this episode. But early on in the episode, we get another heartbreak, which they don't really tell us straight out, but we know. As the audience, we know. Right. We hear that conversation that Paige is having with Tim, and it's clear when she says, well, be good or be well. Like, you don't say that to somebody who you intend to have more of a relationship with, more communication with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, we as an audience, we know, okay, they're done. Walter overhears something, but he's not sure. He's trying to be normal. Yeah. Trying to give people space.
And making a huge effort now.
A huge effort. Listening and, like, really trying to understand the other person from their perspective versus just from Walter and the genius perspective. So he really does, you know, he does the right thing. He, like, pretends he doesn't hear. He asks her. She gives him some answer that is just to brush him off, and he knows that, but he lets it happen, which is good. Progress. Good job, Walter. We like all that. We love it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I like that it was coming from, we find out later it was coming from women's magazines. Yeah.
Right.
So he's like,
great.
I like that he's kind of like finding help elsewhere. You know what I mean? Because normally it's just Paige that's helping him out with the social, you know, issues or whatever. But he's actually kind of thinking outside and he like getting his own help. That's huge for Walter to like make that step for him to like seek it on his own. For a second, I thought he was gonna reference that he was researching the work, because when he's talking to Toby, he's like, "Oh, you're not the only psychologist." I thought he was gonna reference Toby's arch nemesis guy.
Oh, that would have been so good.
I've been studying so and so's work, so you know.
That would have been really funny. But I thought this was hilarious too. That it's a women's magazine, and he's just like, "I'm just trying to be in tune." Yeah, that's what I thought.
So funny.
Cosmopolitan, totally, 100%. That was so good. It was nice to see a different side of Walter, but also like you could see his excitement with what he thinks is happening.
Right.
With like Paige, he's like, "Oh,"
and like his awareness
what?
of it to even like bring that into Happy's situation. He's even making comments on like Happy being good and like, you know, making changes and stuff. I'm like, you are really studying, man.
You're trying.
You know?
Like, you're really trying to be normal.
Yeah.
And just trying to, like, not be the Walter that you've been the last 3 years, maybe. Is
Good
what,
boy.
You know?
I love when they say good boy to Ralph.
Right. Good boy. I know. That's
Good
so
boy.
sad. That's so terrible. But I liked all that. We got a weird, and I say weird because it's different from the typical relationship we get between Paige and Walter. You know, like, again, Walter giving her space. Paige's chair breaks and she kind of has like a little bit of a meltdown, and he's kind of like waiting, like, just tell me what it is that's really going on.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, and he respects it, which is nice because we never get that from Walter. And at the end of the episode, it is revealed that Tim took on an extension over in Jordan because they realized, they realized it wasn't going to work out.
I mean, and that makes sense because it's not like they've been together for years. Because I was kind of thinking like, okay, 8 months if you're in a really serious relationship, is that a deal breaker? I mean,
a serious relationship. How long into the relationship?
Exactly, and that's the question. So for them, it was like the relationship was shallow enough for it to be like, okay, 8 months is like a deal breaker for us, and that's why it made sense. And that was kind of a perfect way for them to get rid of him. It was
I hate.
You wanted him to die, or
no. I didn't care that he's alive. Go ahead, Tim. You be well in Jordan. I don't care.
Be well, yeah.
You be well in Jordan.
Prosper.
Yeah, you do that. But I didn't like. I don't know. Did you get the vibe that like Tim kind of broke up with Paige?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And
well,
I didn't like
it was
that.
his decision, right, to take the position or to take the job.
I didn't like the way it was laid out because.
You thought it should have been her that broke it off with him?
Or make it more mutual. But the way it was portrayed to us, it was that he broke up. And maybe that wasn't it. Maybe it was a total mutual thing.
Right.
But the way they executed it, as an audience, we were like, oh, so he broke up with her?
Kind of.
Which seemed very odd as to... Because the whole time, correct me if you think I'm wrong, don't you think that Tim was more into Paige this whole time?
Right. And like before too, it was Paige that pushed him to go take that position, you know?
Like, it was
I get it.
A little offset. And it's not because I'm Team Paige, obviously, and Team Paige and Walter and all that. But it was just kind of like this whole time, I thought he was way more into her than she was into him. And not that that was a bad thing, but like, I didn't believe that he would break up with her, even if he took this extension.
Right.
How he wasn't like, hey, I took this extension, but I still want to make this work.
Yeah.
How Tim didn't say that, I don't believe that.
Right, yeah. I mean, it would have been nice to know a little bit more about the conversation that they had exactly.
Yes.
But, you know, it's a nice, easy way for us to get rid of Tim, I guess, because we knew he was going to go. So at least finally we got an answer, because we had been waiting like, okay, so what's happening there? You know, so we kind of have an answer. At least there's a little bit of closure.
For sure. We do get the closure that I've been asking for 100%. I just hate how they made it seem like he broke up with her. It just, I don't know.
Right, I wish
it was a little bit more mutual, but even she was so depressed by it. She was like, okay, well, be well.
Right.
Come on, Paige.
Right.
Come
I
on.
would love to have heard a little bit of Ralph's input on what's going on there, you know? Because, like, that's his
why
mom's
not?
boyfriend.
Yeah.
You would think that he has some sort of opinion, or it would have been cute to see him, like, sort of be there for Paige, you know? Sort of like she's heartbroken. And they kind of, like, made it known, right? Because they were saying, like, oh, Paige is heartbroken, and
so is Cabe.
Yeah, Cabe. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it would have been cute to see a little bit of
a little bit more
Ralph's hand in it. But maybe he will get more involved, since he's been trying to get like Walter to step up a little.
For sure. Are you on the live chat?
I am.
What's going on?
We had to start a new another one. So yes.
Sorry about that, guys. If you saw that clip, that was not us.
It was not.
But that guy had good hair.
Yeah, that guy had great hair.
Great hair. So you're welcome. You know.
But I found the other one, because I was like, what's going on? Where did everyone go? Everyone's so quiet. But I found the other one. Stephen Godino we have in here, Cynthia Guzman, and the other one I saw Ivan Soto in there, and a couple other people. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Another thing that I'm glad we came to the end of was the election.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes, it's over.
By
and
election.
It ended the way that we expected.
Yes. So we get a little bit more than I thought we would. At the beginning of the episode, we get this election day ballot brunch. We got Cabe flipping flapjacks for Sly. We got Patel over there doing his own. He doesn't have his blueberry syrup. He's really upset at Allie. All that good stuff. Yeah. But one thing that obviously, like as a fan that we've been watching for years, I noticed the whole thing, Sly shaking a hand and wiping his hand.
Right, of course.
Right? Like, even before the veteran. It was it was too obvious for me. You didn't think so?
I mean, I think they wanted to make it obvious, you know.
But it's like, I don't know, I wish Sly would have done it a little differently, because it was just so obvious. It's like, there's no way. I wish they would have tried to hide his germaphobeness as he's meeting
caught
people.
Or something.
It just, even before the veteran, even before that video that they showed later on in the episode, he shook somebody's hand immediately.
It was always,
like,
yeah.
It was just too much. And I know that they were trying to get us to see it. Like, I get that. I get that was their, whole point about it. But I don't know, maybe hide it a little bit at first. Like, I don't know. Just to make it seem like
easy.
It was just kind of like Sly does not care that he's doing this.
Right.
And he should. In that situation.
I guess he didn't even think of it, because that's so normal for him. And, like, we know that that's normal for him, but he doesn't even think twice about it,
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it would have been cool to see, like, Cabe be like, hey, maybe don't be like that, and he still does that and gets caught or something. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Something like that. But you're right about what you're saying, that he might not even realize it.
It's just so second nature to him.
Yeah, and throughout the whole episode, like, we're getting updated results of the election, and at first Cabe's all excited about it. He thinks that he's shaking the hand of the new alderman, like he even calls him that.
Yeah.
And as the episode progresses, we realize that the results are not what Sly and Cabe wanted, unfortunately. But at the same time, something that I said, I think maybe last week, if not 2 weeks ago, that Sly can't win this because he needs to do bigger and better things.
Exactly.
And he literally says that as he's trying to help the girl in the bubble. He's like, this is more important. We're not going to worry about this.
Exactly.
And then in the end, it turns out he's doing more than just that. He's going to help this veteran keep a building that's going to be demolished.
Right. Well, it's the original place that what got him into the whole election.
Right.
Yeah. So it's nice that they even said that.
Yeah.
Because he still got a win in a way.
Exactly. Know? And Cabe says that. He's like, he may not have won the war, but he won the battle. Yeah. So he still gets something out of it. It's not completely like a waste of time for Sly to run for this. Something came out of it, and he realized at the same time that there's bigger things than this. Scorpion.
Totally.
Scorpion.
And that would not be the last time that would happen, Obviously that would happen over and over, and you're always going to have to choose the mission over whatever alderman
100%.
things going on. Yeah.
Like, there's no way you can think that you can do both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we have the main mission. I liked it.
God, I loved it.
I really enjoyed it. Everything that was going on, I was like, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this can really happen, but I'm
I didn't
for
care.
it.
Yeah. I did not even care. I thought it was so fascinating.
So good.
I love that girl, the actress.
Yes.
She was awesome.
Mary Mouser.
Love Mary Mouser. She was great.
The dad, Brian McNamara, both of them I thought were great.
Yes.
When they had their interactions, I literally was like, why am I crying?
Yeah, I know.
Why am I crying right now? I can't do this.
It was so good.
So good.
So well written.
So realistic.
And I love
both of them, though.
And I love that it wasn't just like her, and her personality is what sold it for me. It's not like she was just like this weak, like, oh, help me, you know, like you pity her and stuff. She was like strong and smart and like
Super
can
smart.
relate with Happy and all that stuff. It made you love her.
And the fact that it was something that took place or that started occurring 2.5 years ago. It wasn't like she grew up in this bubble. Like, this just happened.
Yes.
And she had to get used to doing this.
Exactly.
No mom.
So she knows normal life.
She knows normal life.
And had it taken away from her. It's even worse, you know?
Even worse. The moment where her and her dad hug while she's wearing the hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Yes. All of that. I was like, stop.
Yes.
That just got me.
Good. Even her, like, in the sunlight and that
was
moment,
good too,
and like her thinking Happy for everything later. But yeah, oh God, everything about all of it.
So good. And we don't even know who Ada is. We think she's spark plug adapter 522.
Right. And that too, like, even because you know me, like, I love the missions where it's not like a Homeland mission or it's like some, you know, rando like terrorist or you know what I mean, like those kind of things. I kind of like, you know, but when it's about our people and it's like related to them, that's when I really love these episodes.
I didn't expect it to go this way because, you know, the episode starts off with like Happy on the computer talking to this chatter about this mechanical stuff, and Happy's so totally into it. She's like, I don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
I love them. We're friends. Like, this is not a fake thing. And Toby's like, are you sure you're not being like catfished? Who is this person? What do you know about them? You've been doing this for how long? And you know anything?
Right.
Whatever. All this stuff. But Happy is all about it because nobody, even though they're all geniuses, nobody talks the mechanics that Happy talks. And this girl talks those mechanics. Like, you can Happy was in such a happy zone, literally.
And it was, we've never really seen her connect to anyone else like that. Even with Toby, she doesn't connect like that. You know what I mean? And that's her, you know, that's her man. It's her boo. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was
I love that.
so good. And instantly she's like, she hasn't responded to me. I gotta crack this person. Who is this?
She hopped right on that.
I'm gonna run over there. And they go to Lancaster, which is an actual place.
Yeah, what are the chances that she's like in the hood though, right? I mean, that like, you know what I mean, in the area, like in driving distance.
Seriously,
you know what I mean? Because she met her online, so
what if she was like,
worked out as she was, you know, around
over in like Jersey. I'm gonna get on a flight,
right?
And I'm
just gonna check on her real quick. I'm just gonna share.
We don't have anything in the books till tomorrow, so I'm gonna fly to Jersey. I'll be right back. And no, it's down the street. At least for them, she's able to drive, figure it out. Instantly, she gets there and she sees this house with a tree, electrical wires, like just all on it. And that's all you see. You don't really think anything about it. Instantly, you realize there is a girl in there, in a bubble, living in a bubble. Like if the world was a virus. And she could not experience the world. How terrible is that?
Crazy. It's not the first time I've seen that sort of like idea of like a person living in a bubble. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just crazy to think that it's something that could happen, not just like from birth. I didn't realize that's a situation you could get into. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
What?
For sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there was things I know. I was like, man, this sucks. And she even talked. They don't make this episode as serious as it could be, but they do address a little bit of it when she's like, "Am I really living?
Yeah,
like what am I doing?"
It makes you admire her so much because she's so strong and like she's watching all of her friends do these things. It's not like she just never had these friends, you know, and this is just the only life she knows. She has friends that are going to winter formal and stuff. Like, how heartbreaking is that?
So
they did such a good job.
So terrible. And she was so good. She was so good at portraying all of those emotions. Like, you could just feel it for her, where she was like, what is this? Why am I doing this? So terrible. But I liked how they could have made this episode super, super sad. They could have made it like really focusing on that awful side of it, but they didn't. But they touched on it, which is so important because it's so true.
Right.
You know, like, ugh, how
And that's what made it
awful.
mean so much more that, you know, Happy was able to help her through it.
Right. And Happy, speaking of Happy, she kind of took on a different role in this episode.
Yeah.
A little bit.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Totally.
She was Paige a little
She
bit.
was Paige and she was Walter because she took lead.
Oh,
She
right,
even
right,
put Walter in his place. That was awesome.
Right, she was
She's never
like,
done that.
I'm running.
She was, yeah, I'm running this. And
Yeah.
he even tries to butt in again. He's like, no.
And then he says, he's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right?
Okay, go.
I love that. She
Yeah.
was Paige and Walter.
She was.
And Toby a little bit because she's, you know, she was kind of like the doctor in the situation, like psychologically a little bit. Ah, I loved it.
It was so good. And even when when Toby tells her like keep doing what you're doing, when she realizes what she's doing, being Paige, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like you've been doing it.
Right, I know.
Without
She's
even
already
trying.
doing exactly.
So, and why? Because this Ada was her friend. And I like how they address, I mean, I'm getting a little out of order here because we're talking about the mission, but I really liked how Toby was like, is this why you haven't given me the list of the wedding?
Yeah.
Because you have nobody to invite?
And that's how I felt too. Like it's so I love when they're able to like intertwine their personal issues into the mission. You know, it's coming out in the mission, and this was like in a huge way.
Right.
You know, it's not just like some small thing that happened. That's like, hey, this was like an overall thing, and like that tells us because that's kind of what we've been expecting. Like it's obviously not easy for Happy to expect that or be
sure.
happy that or not happy, but be comfortable with getting married. You know what I mean? Like we all expect for her to be freaking out on the inside. She's probably
Be a little
you know?
hesitant than the normal.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
far we haven't really seen as much of that. But like, yeah, especially when he was talking about like, oh, we need to go taste cakes and pick out whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like Happy at all.
It's like,
you know
just
what I
pick
mean?
whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So I love giving that little taste of like, okay, yeah, she is freaking out because we know that that's her.
Right.
Love it.
I know. I loved it. And not to go too far into it, but do you think we'll see Ada again?
I would like to.
Me too.
The way they ended it was
Right.
open-ended, and the wedding's still coming.
The wedding's still coming, and like they focus too much on the friend.
Yeah.
Like this is your friend. She even says, I can't even invite her to the wedding. And she's like straight up to Walter, can you do this?
Exactly, as like a future thing.
Yes.
Yes.
So like not to go too far into that, but
Right.
I hope we see her
I
again.
would love that.
Me too. That would be so well by the writers of the show. Like that is such a good one to bring back.
Exactly, because not only because sometimes we get like these side characters like Ray and
Ray.
the mom and stuff, and like
Which
and
I hope we would see at the wedding.
Oh my! Oh my God! He has to
hope
be at
we
the
would
wedding.
see Ray
Oh
at the
my God, he
wedding.
has to be at the wedding. But like we get these side characters, but they're like they're like on the side, and they're in multiple episodes. This one would actually be a whole mission that comes back. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And we haven't really seen anything like that.
Right.
I would
Love that, right? To go into everyone in the chat, thank you so much, Cynthia Guzman, CB5440A, Corby1. Thank you so much for being here. Something that Corby1 just made me think about, Walter's a wackadoodle, which Ada describes him as that.
Yeah.
Having two happies.
I know.
In this episode
That was
a little
awesome.
bit.
Yeah.
So much.
And I loved Walter's reaction to that. He was kind of like y'all been talking about me behind my back.
Like his reaction, and not like offended, just more like, huh.
Yeah.
All right, so this is happening. This
Yeah.
is like a thing.
It was so funny.
So his reactions, Elias Gable's reactions,
This episode, I mean, all
and
the
he
time.
does it all the time.
All
But
the
this
time.
episode
So
specifically, so good. But there's a lot. He reacts so well, so like.
well.
It's like literally you're a genius and you are calculating, you are computing everything you just heard, and I see it in your eyes as you're trying to figure it out.
My favorite one this episode, because I particularly noticed it, was the one where where he's talking to Paige at the very end, and she's like, "No, I didn't hear your conversation." After he admits the thing, and he makes these looks where he looks when he's like, "Oh shoot, I did not need to say that,"
Yeah,
and like you know,
like-
God, the way he does that was. You killed it. Like,
He has
so
all
good.
of his own conversations in his head.
Really
in his
good, yeah,
head.
and you can see it all in his face.
So good. So Ada, we gotta help Ada. So many things are happening. This bubble's about to be punctured. That is the first problem with this. I loved how it was done. How it was literally like, we're gonna do this like Jenga.
Yeah.
One piece at a time. Super logical. I loved all of
Love
that.
episode.
So good. It was so good. And obviously things start to go wrong, as in any Scorpion episode. Of
course.
And the stuff falling, the debris, 100 pounds of debris, all of that, it's crashing down, and Ada has to help. She pushes one of a big, looks like a huge line,
Right. A branch.
a branch
That's
that's about to
broken, yeah.
puncture the thing, the bubble. She gets in there. She starts helping. Like, it instantly tells you how smart this girl is.
And that's another thing too. If they were to bring her back, how cool would it be for her to sort of help on a mission? Because she is like a happy, yeah, you know what I mean, right? They could totally bring her back and totally use her, because maybe she's not like a genius, but she's enough. Like what Happy was saying, she was like, she's more detail oriented than we are. You know what I mean? So for them to use, even if it was just like a phone a friend, you know, and they want to like reference her, that would be awesome. I would totally bring her back.
I would absolutely love to see that.
Right? Your face.
I'd love to see that. And it's not like, you don't need to be a genius. She's obviously smarter than the normal person. She sits in there and reads. Why can't she help?
Yes, and they made her so likable. Like, she's witty, she's funny, she's sarcastic. You know what I mean? Like, she's not a bad actress. So I just want her back. You know?
What does she say? Or her and Happy when Toby's like, "Oh yeah, not something. You mean not something heavy and da da da."
Yeah, that's something. And she was like, "Oh no, I was just thinking of throwing some knives at it." Yeah,
that was so good. Like, it just
so happy. Yeah,
so happy, so good.
Loved it.
But obviously, the debris falling is not the only problem. Oh, the wire. One of the wires actually breaks, and it can melt into the bubble.
Right, everything's sparking
so we gotta
and melting.
transfer. What are we talking about? Transferring this girl who can't live outside of this bubble. People are tripping, but they do it. They gotta transfer her. And we also find out the fact that she cannot find a bone marrow transplant.
Yes.
That's so awful. That's so terrible.
crazy.
They give you the statistics that it's literally like a local high school. The chance of finding somebody who has the same type of bone marrow as her is very, very slim. Tends to be mainly in the family or like people related to her. Her mother died. Her dad's not a match, and they
come from like a
small
and that was
town.
I love that. I love that they included that. You know, because we would probably be thinking like, you can probably find a family member somewhere, but they even went far enough to explain that they went all the way back to their heritage from the town that they're from. Yeah. Dang, you did your work. You know.
I know, and I like how you said that they literally told us that. Walter's like, and you tested everyone. They're like, yep, we did it. Like we've done.
That's crazy.
We've done the basics, the specifics, like whatever. So she's literally kind of being held in a bubble until a miracle. Yeah. Hopefully the miracle will be Scorpion. But we gotta transfer her. And like the way they transfer her looks legit. Like, the hazmat suit, total legit.
Yeah.
That seems, of course, but everything has to be sterilized. And she has like her own sterile machine that will sterilize anything.
Yeah.
But that's not enough. They gotta transfer her, and who comes to the rescue from the garage is Sly as a fellow germaphobe.
Yeah.
He kind of is the one coming up with everything as it goes along.
And I love this. Like, they're able to like kind of correlate the whole mission with this girl and her having this. She doesn't have a phobia, but she can't be around the germs.
She can't, right.
And Sly, with his whole issue that he's having with the election, is that people are accusing him of being a germaphobe and all this stuff. And it's like, I love that you guys put those two and two right next to each other.
And how important it is.
Exactly, yeah. Because there's Sly, who just can't touch it, you know? But it kind of makes us understand, because there's this girl who, like, can't,
literally
like,
cannot.
We kind of get it a little bit more, you know? It's like, okay,
sure.
well, there's a reason the bacteria really can hurt you and stuff, you know? So
right.
I like that they put those two together.
Right. They showed both ends of the spectrum when it came to that particular situation. So good. Sly thinks of the meat locker. He says that they can sterilize it. It's airtight. This is the perfect place for her to go after this bubble bursts. So they put her in the hazmat suit with the oxygen tank, essentially, and off they go. And you think it's like, great, we're gonna get her to this place, it's gonna be great. She breaks out in hives. Much like my dog broke out in hives after he ate a bee.
Yes.
Much like that.
Does happen.
So, not the same, but a lot like it, where I was like, seriously, what's going on with my dog? She looked the same, pretty much. A little terrifying.
I like that they did the hives, because it kind of felt like, it
was too easy?
Yes, it was too easy. Because I kind of felt like, really? You haven't touched your daughter in 2 years, and this is all you had to do? Get a hazmat suit, and you could have held her once, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, it's too easy. So I like that they put in the extra thing of like, oh, well, she had a reaction to the stuff that
is in
sanitized or that, what do you call that? Whatever.
Yes. It was a specific thing that's in the,
that chemical that they used. Yes. And he even mentioned it. He was like, oh, normally these things like air out for 36 hours, but they didn't have that time or whatever. So I like that they made it a little harder, and she had a reaction and stuff.
For sure. And so she's got the hives, and they have to figure out how to get her out of this suit, but she can't survive in natural air because she has no immune system. So again, Sly throughout the entire episode keeps coming up with ideas, and I like how Cabe's like, that doesn't work. Next, what's next? Go. And then they come up with honey.
Honey.
I didn't know honey was as sterile as that.
I've heard that before. That honey is like an antibacterial.
I didn't know that. I had no idea. I'm more interested as to how they got so much honey. I know they went to Cousin Buzzy's honey hut. I understand that. So I get it. So I like that they gave me that answer. But it was literally like, it was just coincidence that you were just around the corner.
Yeah,
a little too easy.
I also thought it was kind of easy that the guy was kind of like, oh, Cabe just called me, you know? And he was just already had like a vat of honey just ready.
Yeah.
It would have been funnier if he was kind of like, okay, this is a real call, you know? Or like, I thought this was a prank, but you guys are actually here.
You actually
with a girl
made this much honey.
Or whatever. You know what I mean?
But you're right. The person was so like, okay, I got
was
this.
ready,
Yeah. I wish it was a little different, but it's fine. We'll get over it. I loved it. I still loved it. They get this barrel of honey, and she has to go in there. Now she can breathe. I also liked, by the way, that they gave her a comm.
Yes.
That was so smart.
Loved it.
Because it was like, you're not going to be able to talk to me, but you're going to be able to hear me. So you're going to put this comment, you're going to go in the honey, and you're just going to sit there for a long time.
Wait, so when did she get the comm in, though? Did
Before
they sterilize that before she got the hazmat suit on? Oh, okay. I don't remember, but yeah.
It was done very quickly. Actually, the first time I saw the episode, I didn't even catch her getting the comm. It was done so like, and they even say, blah, 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 give her a comm.
Right.
And it's done, sterilize it, whatever, she puts it in and she goes. Then the second episode, I was like, oh, she has a comm. Oh, they give her a comm. So good. Okay, got it. I understand. But I totally missed it. It happened very quickly. But they give her a clean one. She puts it in the honey, then they go. Happy drives like a maniac.
Yeah, of course, as always.
With a person in a honey, in a barrel full of honey.
Drive slowly.
But that's true. That's true. So they get to the meat locker. This meat locker needs to be sterilized. And the only way they can do it with enough time, because you mentioned the 36 hours of sterilizing something, is with fire. They literally have to put it in flames for X amount of time to sterilize it. And she needs to be in there while it's burning so that when it dies down,
she's already in there.
She's already in there. They could just put the oxygen. She could go in there. No issues. They tell her she has to be without oxygen for 1 minute. Could you be without oxygen for 1 minute?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think I could do that. I think if somebody said that to me, like, it's cool, just kill me. I don't think I can do this, y'all. So
yeah, I definitely would have been hard, and I feel like it was kind of longer than a minute for her because she had to like crack out of that honey creme brulee that was happening for her. You know?
Creme brulee, but seriously,
it did brulee on top.
I felt like it was longer than a minute, and I felt like a minute is over the normal that a person can do. And I know you can build up your resistance as to how long you can hold your breath.
Right.
I know you can do that, but for somebody who's like doesn't practice that, for you to be like 1 minute and be like, girl, when the hell did you think I last practiced this? You know what I mean? I haven't swam in 3 years. I haven't even gotten underwater. Like, what do you? I thought that was a little too much. A little bit. A little bit of a stretch for somebody who probably has never had to do that.
Right.
That's all. That's all. But they do it. Happy is like in her ear, keeping her calm as she's doing the whole episode, which is so nice to see, and tells her to think of a mechanical thing, a mechanical process while this goes through, so that she doesn't think about the 1 minute and then she can get out.
Right. And to make sure she's okay afterwards, because she should come out afterwards. She could have come out afterwards and been like, you know, maybe not like messed up, but maybe had like some sort of concussion or we don't know what's happening, you know? So to like kind of test her sharpness and her mental ability.
For sure.
I love that.
110%. I agree with you. And she asks her a question and she hesitates, or maybe she doesn't hesitate, but there's a moment where she doesn't come out yet. She eventually comes out of the honey and she says the crankshaft. Atta girl.
Yeah.
Atta girl. Everything Toby wants from Happy, and Ada gets it. And so, you know, she's back in this meat locker as her bubble for now, with everything that she could possibly need in the bubble. Like, they tell her she's got her bed, she's got books, she's got a laptop, everything she could possibly need, unfortunately, in this little bubble. Happy and Ada have a special moment, you know. Happy tells her, like, I wish I could have done more.
Yeah.
She's like, you saved my life.
Yeah.
I got to hug my dad.
I got to get some sun on my face.
So good.
I loved all of that.
And Happy's face, it was like didn't you? I was like, she wants to cry. She's
Yeah.
like holding it back.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do it because she's
So
happy.
good. She's
But
like, this is my one friend.
my one friend. Anything, and she says that anything for a friend. So stinking
yeah.
cute. We go back to the garage, and Happy's at the computer, frozen, kind of waiting for Ada to log on because that's how they met. But nothing's going on. Walter, we realize this is when he gets his friendship advice from a magazine, so that's when all that happens. But the whole thing with Paige, Allie and Kay break up, which I freaking hate. But the thing that happens here at the end of the episode with Ada is that they give her a winter formal.
Yeah.
So sweet.
So cute.
With a VR. Have you ever put one of those on?
Oh, actually, I did. I went to Six Flags and tried their new. They have a ride with VR on
How's
it.
that?
It's not. Mine did not work.
Oh, that sucks.
The whole time, yeah, because I mean, you can see the screen, but I could just see what was around me. You know,
Yeah.
like I could see the roller. I was like, I'm just wearing this headset and I can see. It's like a
Yeah.
camera. It was
like
so
a-
stupid. But the person I was with saw like a spaceship. They were on like some mission or something happening. They were like, "You don't see this?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I see you." 'Cause I'm on a roller coaster and this is heavy thing. You know, it's like indenting my cheeks.
Gus gave me one for Christmas. That's
Yeah?
my brother. He gave me one for Christmas. And I've downloaded like a bunch of apps. And the ones that are the best, which you will hate,
He said this was
are the
scary ones. Yeah.
Girl. But I wouldn't want to do it on a roller coaster. What's the point of
Yeah.
that? I just want to get on the roller
I mean,
coaster.
I get the idea of it because it's kind of cool
For
because
sure.
you don't know what your body's
And
gonna
you're
do.
going.
You
Yes,
don't know
yes,
what's
yes.
gonna happen, so you're kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I could have been blindfolded and on a roller coaster, and that would have been still a
The
cool
same thing,
experience. You
kinda
know what I
like-
mean? Like you
yes.
don't know what's happening. But
For
anyways.
sure. But they give her this virtual reality, and she's able to literally kind of see it dance.
I loved it.
They put this together because we got two heartbreaks going on at the same time. Happy's super sad about her friend, but Ada is there. And what's funny is that Toby is kind of Ada.
Yeah.
He puts on the gloves and he is doing everything she feels or
experience it.
experiences. Correct. Yeah.
I feel like I mean, I would love to see, I mean, obviously this is going too much into it, but I feel like she could totally kind of go to school with that stuff. You know what I mean? Like she could, I mean, I don't know anyone that would do it for, but you know, like if she had a friend or someone that would put that on for her and take her to school, she could totally go to school.
Right.
I saw on some other show on Bob's Burgers or something, there's a girl who's like sick and they're trying out like a home program, but they send in one of those robots that, remember Phil was on one of those like
iPad,
in
like
Modern
robot?
Family. Yeah, you know? So I feel like she could kind of go to school
Cool,
in
a
that
little
way,
bit.
you know?
Yeah.
So I would like to see, or I've seen them explore that. But anyways, that's kind of just asking for too much about this girl's life. I'm so into her. I'm so into Ada. I think it's fascinating.
We got Daniela Gonzalez, who just joined on, saying on, she's late. Hey, girl, thanks for joining. We did like the episode. I had some issues, but, you know, go back and watch the beginning. You'll hear me. I was really upset about it. But that was so sweet. I loved that we got a little bit of, that we gave her that winter formal that she mentioned she never got.
So cute.
I loved all that.
So sweet.
And, you know, that's where Walter says he's trying to create an algorithm to find the donor for her. And he tells her, he's like, I don't know how long it's going to take. That's basically what it says. It could take 3 months. It could take 5 months. It could take years. I don't know.
But I love that they left it like that. I love that like they left it open-ended.
Yes.
I love that they didn't just give us a simple answer of, oh, I happen to be a bone marrow.
Yes.
I happen to be a match. You know what I mean?
For
That
a
would've been-
second, I thought it was going to be Happy.
I thought it was going to be that too. I was like, that's just kind of too easy, you know? It would have been so easy and whatever. So I like that it's open-ended. You know, we don't know. It kind of gives us hope for like, is she going to come back?
Yeah.
If we ask hard enough, you guys, if
Let's
you guys
do
tweet
it.
the writers enough, you guys, I really think so. I really think we can get her back. I'd like to
Seriously.
believe we had a hand in Ray coming back.
Yes.
So I really think
A little bit.
you guys.
A little bit.
The wedding's coming.
Wedding is coming. I think we covered, right, the
Yeah.
episode. We didn't talk about Ralph. Ralph was in the episode very briefly. At the end, it says, you know, we use Ada as an example as to why he should go on that field trip. He doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Paige uses that. So we do see a little Ralph, which we always love. But I think we covered the episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I kind of did already the predictions a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, our prediction, you guys kind of heard it. I mean, do we want to do
Throughout.
the music for predictions
Yeah.
to make it like official or something?
Whatever you want.
No worries. We're
Yes.
good. You got it. I don't want Allie to come back. Cabe's not good enough.
Done.
Will we get Ada? Hopefully.
Hopefully. That's all I want.
Hopefully. Guys, that is what we want. Any other prediction?
No,
Wedding
I loved
coming.
it.
I know. I really
love
liked
this
it aside from Cabe
I'm loving
sucking.
the writers lately. Like they have so many puns in these episodes.
So
like
good.
the into the honey, like those things like kill me.
Love it. And
it.
honey, where can they find you?
Oh, they can
On
find
Twitter
me
and
at
Instagram.
Susanna_Kim, SUSANNAH_KIM.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSEBOLANOS. Don't forget, AfterBuzz covers all of your favorite shows. You can catch Susannah on Speechless and on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So, check it out. If not, see us next week. We think there's an episode. They're weird. They should be back. We'll be back. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.